Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And this is going to be a video covering the new moon in Taurus that we are having today. Actually, it's going to be apexing around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what a powerful event we have. I really do believe that this new moon in Taurus and the following full moon in Scorpio will be two of the most powerful lunar transits and events of the year, outside of course the eclipses. But this is incredible. We have Uranus here in Taurus, a new moon in Taurus. Of course the moon is exalted in Taurus, so the moon likes to be here. So everyone's already kind of in a relaxed and chilled state. And now with this new moon, this is about a whole new world opening up, especially with Uranus here. And considering the fact that we haven't had a new moon in Taurus with Uranus here, the last time that we had this, I wrote this down, was in, I didn't write down the date. It was in like 1941 or 1942. It was the early 40s, the last time that we got this event. So many of us weren't even alive. Not only that, but there was a lot of other energies in Taurus at that time too. We had Venus in Taurus at that time, we had the planet of karma, Saturn in Taurus at that time, and we had Jupiter. And that new moon was at 5 degrees of Taurus, which is really close to where Uranus is. Uranus right now is at 3 degrees of Taurus. That new moon that we had in the early 40s when Uranus was in Taurus was in the upper degrees as well. It was at 5 degrees. This time it's kind of flipped. This new moon is going to be at 14 degrees. Uranus is at 3 degrees. So anytime you get a new moon, it's a new beginning, right? It's a transition point. We're starting off something new. It's the beginning of the lunar cycle once again. And with this being the fixed earth quality, this really is everyone stepping into a whole new world, a whole new adventure. And what's incredible about this one is because since the last new moon in Taurus with Uranus here, we don't have Jupiter there, which is the planet of expansion, good luck and fortune. We don't have the planet of karma here either. So we have officially ended this old world and this old paradigm. And now we are shifting into new energy. We're shifting into a new paradigm, right? Saturn right now is in Capricorn along with Pluto in the south node. Jupiter is retrograde in Sagittarius, and Saturn and Pluto are of course retrograde as well. Now this new moon, since it's at 14 degrees, it brings about a very balancing energy. It is in the middle of the zodiac, only 1 degree off from it. And as the moon continues after the apex, it will actually make a sextile over to Neptune in Pisces. It will make a sextile over to the North Node in Cancer, as well as trine all of this Capricorn energy. So we are being given this opportunity. I like to think of sextiles as opportunities. So we're being given an opportunity to really connect with our ancestors and our guides via the North Node and really connect with this deeper sense of emotional foundation and emotional security. And I like to think of emotions, it's ruled by water, so it's waves. And this new moon, I want you to sort of just envision just this calm lake or this calm river. And you're sitting by the lake or the river. You can just hear the water just moving ever so gently, ever so gently. And since it's making positive aspects to all of this synergy, especially with all this crazy Capricorn energy, but since it's a trine, which brings about a miracle, really the only thing that really can trip us up with this new moon is if we think that we have to continue the old story. If we think that we are bound to the old story. This is a time of huge spiritual breakthrough. This is a time of big psychic breakthrough as well. And it is really a moment where we finally come to this realization, and we can really begin to actualize this new story, this new journey, this new world that we're all stepping into. And we got to remember, Taurus is a pretty slow energy. It can be a little stubborn, and sometimes it takes a while to get things done. So this new world that we're building, we're really just building the foundation of it right now. We're building the ground level, and this is not really going to be a time where we want to just kind of skip ahead to the end and skip steps. This is a brick by brick, layer by layer kind of new moon. And we're going to be getting these new moons in Taurus with Uranus here for the next 5, 6 years or so, 7 years. So this is the first layer. This is the first portal. This is the first doorway that we're stepping into. Kind of like look at it as, I'm getting a vision of like these kids. They're in like the middle of this city. And it's kind of dreary one day. It's like kind of overcast and kind of like raining a little bit, but not too much. And you can hear a little bit of thunder and maybe, but it doesn't seem like it's going to storm. It seems like the storm is being held at bay, and everybody's kind of like in the hustle and bustle of the everyday, going to work, going on their breaks, out eating, chatting. And there are these kids that just like, I'm getting these kids have actually skipped school. I'm getting this vision of these kids that skip school, probably because they're kind of fed up with what they've been taught. They feel like they're not really learning anything. They don't really feel excited about anything. They don't really feel the passion and the joy, so they decide to skip school. And what happens is that they've heard these rumors of another place, another world, but there are these rumors of, if you go down there, kids have disappeared down there. All of these kids would go down this particular alley and they would just suddenly disappear. You won't hear from them again. And I'm getting this vision of these kids. They go down this alley, they find it, and what happens is that in that alley there is a magical portal, and then when they walk through that portal, they're taken to this whole nother world. A whole other world with trees and plants that they've never seen, animals that they've never seen. The sky is this super vibrant blue. There's a field of just all kinds of flowers that they've never seen. And it just feels like there's just magic in the air. It just feels like, there's like almost like fairy dust in the air. And it's just like, it's totally like even the sun it's bright and it's shining, but even the sunshine and even the light feels different. This is going to be a new moon where even the light of the sun is going to start to feel different from here on out, because this is a whole new paradigm shift, guys. And it's like these kids, when they went to this new world, they find all the other kids that apparently were lost and were never found. And, some of the kids are like, we just decided to stay because this is a lot cooler here. It beats going to class, right? It beats sitting in class and taking standardized tests. We'd rather stay here. And it turns out these kids that they discovered that went to this other world, turns out they have like some sort of crazy entailed destiny, whatever, and then they start to discover their superpowers. Like one of them learns swordsmanship, another one learns how to work with the elements, another one can communicate with trees and plants, another one can communicate with animals. This is going to be a massive new moon for unlocking deep latent gifts that have been kind of buried deep within our souls, and this is giving us opportunity to now bring these forth. Super powerful energy. I'm definitely getting a sense that since this is sort of a ground level kind of thing, there may be a tendency for some people to kind of want to just skip ahead to the ending, to kind of skip ahead to their manifestation, to kind of just like, but these are baby steps. This is very much so a new moon about baby steps, especially with Uranus being here at 3 degrees in Taurus. This is about baby steps, and this is also about, taking our belief structure, especially within ourself and our self-worth and our value, and whether or not we really do believe in ourselves, and what type of actions can we begin to take? How can we begin to think differently? How can we begin to look at our world in a different light? How can we begin to look at all of our situations and our circumstances in a different light? And when we put, really, the initial thing I heard was put a filter on it, but I feel like the filter's coming off. I feel like Uranus is going to help to bring the filter off. I feel like with the North Node in Cancer, and of course with these retrograde planets and the South Node in Capricorn, the filter is most certainly coming off. Jupiter is retrograde during this time too. This filter is coming off. Like I said, the only thing that could really trip you up with this new moon is if you really don't believe in yourself. And even if you lack self-esteem, this is a new moon that to just kind of let go in many ways. I know full moons are usually let go periods, but I believe that full moons and new moons can be a let go and also the start of something new. That's what I believe. So this is going to be a new moon to where it's like, you know, you've played out that story, you've played out that that dialogue within your being. And this is going to be a very powerful new moon for, you know, truly embodying the temple, truly holding this temple as sacred. And, you know, if you feel like you haven't quite gotten to where you want to be, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, please do not be too hard on yourself. This is not a new moon to be hard on ourselves. Even though it's fixed earth, this is a time to where we have to realize that things take time to grow. Seeds take time to grow. They don't just simply grow overnight. And I have this vision of a bunch of anthills. I have a vision of a bunch of anthills. I remember sometimes I would go to the park, sometimes still now, but I will just walk around the tall grass off the trail, off the beaten path, and I will see these massive, massive anthills. They would be in this giant area. There's just massive anthills, almost like a city of anthills. And I'm sitting here thinking, ants have to be some of the strongest, most like, they have to be some of the strongest, intelligent, and just dedicated animals and creatures out there. These tiny little beings are able to construct these massive piles of dirt, and then they have these complicated tunnels where in some chambers they hold food, some chambers they hold the newborns, some chamber, you have the queen's chamber. This is going to be a time where not only are we kind of building up this ant pile, and we're going to start to grow it and grow it and grow it, but it's also a time to make sure that we have things in the right order. We have to make sure that we have, this is going to be sort of even like a new moon of kind of compartmentalizing, even though everything's connected, but to make sure that, we have the different areas of our life in order so that when it comes together like a beautiful, beautiful package. And Taurus, in many ways, it does deal with gifts, even though gifts, a lot of times people may think of Sagittarius, but it does deal with gifts. It does deal with physical goods. It does deal with materiality. It does deal with food. This is definitely going to be a new moon, especially this weekend. Just look out. A lot of people are going to be just enjoying themselves, being in the moment, eating, drinking, and being merry. This is definitely a new moon to where, like, even if you kind of even have like a strict diet, I would say to kind of just allow yourself to just be free, to eat, drink, and be merry. Taurus can be very stubborn and stuff, but this is very much so going to be a time where we just kind of want to just get into our senses and connect back to the earth, connect back to Goddess Earth. I wanted to originally do this video outside, but it's been like raining off and on the past several days. But it really is incredible, just like going outside, going for a walk, putting your feet in the grass, putting your bare feet in the grass. So go outside, put your bare feet in the grass, talk with the trees. One of the things that I do, I think I've told you guys before, is I like to say like a meditation and prayer before I go into work. And there's this tree out back that when I go outside before my shift, before we open, and I just kind of lay my head and lay my kundalini up against the tree and I pray. That's a very powerful thing too, because the trees can help to actually attune your energy. A whole new world, beloved, a whole new world that we're stepping into. And this whole new world is really going to be a reflection on, do you believe that you are a king or queen? Do you believe that you have that royalty? A lot of times people associate royalty with Leo, and I get it, but a lot of times royalty can also be associated with Taurus, because you think about, money, wealth, riches. Leo is sort of like a king that's like almost like chosen by birth in many ways, and we all are kings and queens chosen by birth. But Taurus is sort of like this individual that either built themselves up and they weren't necessarily chosen by God, quote unquote, or maybe they're even born into it. So, especially with this moon going to be sextiling the North Node, and this is going to be dealing with ancestry and our family. A lot of you are going to get communication from family members, who are incarnated here and those who have passed on. But I'm feeling a lot of those who have passed on, because the North Node is getting so close to trining Neptune. It's getting really close to trining Jupiter. Neptune. And this is actually going to allow these ancestors of yours that have passed on to come through and begin to feed to you and download to you information of your true inheritance. And this true inheritance isn't something physical. It is a divine spark. It's a divine essence. It's this divine knowledge that they're going to see deep within you. And this is going to be a message of, no matter who you are and where you are, you can feel abundant. You can feel prosperous. You can feel that opulence. And nothing can really get in your way. I don't care if you have $1 billion or if you only have $5 to your name. You can feel abundant in spirit. And that's really what it comes down to. You can feel so abundant, and your smile can be so radiant that it just gives energy. It just exudes this energy, and you just make everyone else around you just feel abundant, where you literally walk into the room and you just light it up, because you're just that much in your truth. You're that much in your worth. You're walking in your truth, and nothing can really stop you. So I'm going to draw a few cards for this, and then I'm going to get out of here. I've already shuffled these 2 decks, but I'm going to give them one more shuffle. And I'm going to draw a couple of tarot cards, and I'm going to draw also an animal messenger card. So the top of this deck that we actually have, wow, look at this. We have the 10 of Beetles, which is also associated with the suit of Pentacles. So we have the 10 of Beetles. Bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Beetles. It's in reverse. We have the Knight of Beetles, and below that we have Justice. Oh my goodness, guys. 10 of Beetles, this does speak to abundance and prosperity. It speaks to the good life. It speaks to success. It speaks to these treasures. It speaks to wealth. And when I'm thinking the beetle, in many ways, I'm seeing multiple beetles. I'm seeing like the scarab beetle, of course, associated with like Egyptian mythology. These are kind of like just some like regular looking kind of like brown beetles. I'm also thinking of like those iridescent like Japanese beetles that like glow like blue and green in the sun. I'm getting like a bunch of those, right? And it's like I see them like kind of like dancing around us, and they're just like, just relax, have a good time. You've made it. You're here. The only thing, like I said, that can really stop us. We had the Knight of Beetles, and this was in reverse. The Knight is the Knight of Beetles, or the Knight of Pentacles, is the slowest moving knight. He takes a while, she takes a while to really get going and to go for what she wants. The fact that's in reverse is saying that, this is not really a time to really wait around. Even if it takes time, go ahead and start, because if you just keep putting it off and I'm guilty of this, if you just keep putting it off and keep putting it off and keep putting it off, it'll never get done. So this is like, you want to have like the perfect plan before jumping through. But then we get the Justice card that came below it. So it's like, justice will be served. You will find harmony. You will have the peace, and what will, like, that which you want to manifest will come to you. But if you never start, beloved, it'll never come. And just know that, you're probably never going to have the perfect plan. You're probably never going to have it perfectly down. You don't have any Virgo energy, so this is not really a time, and we have a lot of Aries energy too. This is not really a new moon to try and just have the perfect plan. Really, what you just need to sort of come into and embody is like, does this make me feel my truth? Does this make me happy? Am I joyous? Is this blissful? That's not to say that there won't be challenges to overcome. That won't be to say that, like, you know, some days, like, I love making videos and doing this stuff, but sometimes I don't necessarily want to make a video. And it's not because I don't like making videos. I'm just not always in the mood to make a video. So it's like, it's not going to be like those moments are going to come, or you're not going to be hit with challenges and stuff like that. This is talking about, you know, needing to weigh things out, you know, needing to weigh things out to see, you know, kind of what fits in our vibration, what doesn't fit, what changes do we need to make. Of course, you want to see where this lies in your houses to know exactly how this new moon is going to be affecting you. But it's like, I think right now, what we've been kind of weighing out is this whole wavering. It's like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? It's almost like, you know, how you like pick flowers to see, like, she loves me not. He loves me not. We've been doing this since the early 40s. We've been doing this since the early 40s. And it's like, stop. There's no need to do that anymore. There are no more flower petals on the flower anyways. Now it's just a delusion that we're in, that there are still flower petals on this flower that we've been picking off. Now it's time to let that shit go. It's time to stop wavering so much, and it's time to take some action. It's time to move forward, and it's like, you know what? Adjust along the way. If you're not going to have the perfect plan, if you're not going to know exactly how it's going to work out, if you have worry and anxiety and doubt about the future, know that no amount of worry, doubt, and anxiety is going to change and, you know, completely cement in the future what's going to happen for you. Because you don't know. It's unknown. And that can be scary, but it also can be super fucking exciting, right? So it's like, no need to really waver anymore. Know that you have your angels and guides on your side. Know that you have the God force. Know that you are always connected. And know that you will always be. You will always be, beloved. And let me draw one animal messenger card, then I'm going to get out of here. And I chose these decks because this deck uses insects for the tarot, and then this deck is just an animal messenger deck. And I wanted to do that because I felt like I just really wanted to connect back to the creatures and the animals, because they're really connected to the earth. We have the Black Panther. Bottom of the deck, we actually have the elephant. The Black Panther says, sensuality and passion stirs beneath a cloak of secrecy. And then the elephant is, you gain the love and wisdom that is passed from one generation to the next. This is the moon coming into that sextile with the north node. You see those giant ears the elephant has? That's for being able to hear all of what the ancestors are telling, all of these gifts, all of this knowledge that that's being bestowed upon us. Elephants are such beautiful creatures. It's actually probably one of the favorite animals of my fiance. It's probably one of her spirit animals. And then of course we get the Black Panther, which is kind of funny because she's a Carolina Panthers fan. And this in many ways kind of represents the future. The future, we can't really see what's going on. We can't really know exactly what's going to happen. But if we remain open, and if we allow this knowledge and wisdom to come through us, then we really have nothing to worry about, because we are infinitely abundant. No matter what anyone says, and no matter what anyone thinks, even no matter what we think, even if we're thinking that we're not, the fact of the matter is that we are. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I hope that gave you some information about this new moon, and I trust that you go out and you experience beauty, grace, and brilliance on this day and the days to follow. And happy new moon, everyone. Happy Forest Day, May the 4th, and happy Cinco de Mayo. And of course, happy birthday to all of the awesome Tauruses out there. And I hope that you gain, hope you all enjoyed this video. Obviously, I'm rambling now, so it's about time for me to get out of here. But as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.